Hi there guys, Charlie here from Qual, the Head of Professional Services, and we have another tech talk for you today on this glorious Friday afternoon. Hope you're all staying safe and well. We've got to touch on a great subject today about simple, secure solutions for remote and extended connectivity. We're going to touch on a few things about small businesses, big businesses, how they're coping with working from home, how different solutions can enable users to work remotely, connecting in different ways, and accessing files and being able to do your day-to-day business without being restricted by working from home or working outside of the office. It's a tough time out there, guys, and we need to be as flexible as possible. We've got a great few solutions to go through from different technologies, different experiences, different ways of connecting in, and they all fundamentally do the same thing. They'll get you to your files, get you to your servers, get you to your machines in the office to enable you to work. There is different levels of security based on different technologies. Some are more secure than others, some are less secure, some have multi-factor authentication attached to them as well, which enables you to restrict the access by having a mobile device that would prompt you for a code or a prompt to allow you to log in. This will then help you with it. If your passwords get compromised, you aren't sitting there unable to get to your accounts. There's one thing we can touch on today is RMM tools. IT companies nowadays need to be able to, especially now that everyone's working from home, their tools need to be able to work outside the office, especially when people have even taken their physical machines home. So desktops that weren't planning to be taken home are now in someone else's property. So their tools need to be able to work, and you need to be able to deploy software. You need to be able to take admin access of those machines, and there are tools out there to do that. And if you've got any questions about how they do that or how to do that, please get in touch, give us a call, jump on the chat, send us a message, and I will do my best to answer those kind of questions. Especially with IT companies now where everybody is not in the office and you can't get hold of people as easily. Having quick and access to people's machines is what's going to help you to drive the business and also keep people calm, keep people well informed, and keep the machines running. People don't like not being able to get hold of IT, so making sure your remote management tools work, especially when they're out of the office, is a beautiful thing. You don't want to not have that. You want to make sure that your IT guys can quickly jump in, fix whatever the problem is, and then get on with what they've been doing, and you guys can crack on with what you guys have been doing. Another thing we can touch on is VPNs. There is a number of different solutions to do with VPNs. You can run, depending on the vendor of your firewall in your office, or you could even run it on your server. It's totally up to you guys as to what you've got available. With what's gone on, people might have to just use what they've got rather than buying to new solutions or to new technologies that they're not quite sure about yet, or the IT guys might not be too clued up on what vendors to use, what technology to use. So people are just going to sort of roll with what they've got or try to make what they've got work. There's no easy way about that. So people might not have implemented MFA, or 2FA for their VPN clients. So that is a good thing to do. It stops passwords being compromised. If they do get compromised, your VPN services are still protected by that extra layer of security. And then once you've got that client installed, or if you're using the built-in Windows clients, or if you're using SSL clients, you can then connect to your networks, and then you can access the files or access your desktops, depending on what kind of business you're in and whether the machine you've got at home is capable of doing the work you've been doing. I know from experience, video editors, their machines at home might not be up to scratch to what they've got in the office. They might need to remote into their machines in the office, which are built to withstand large video editing or large, compiling of resources and things. So your machine at home might not be up to scratch to do that. So having a VPN is a great way to then access your devices in the office to then enable you to carry on doing those kind of requests, those video editing or those compiling of what have you, that was going to require large amounts of CPU power, RAM, and even if you've got flash drives on there, all that kind of thing is what your hardware was built for in the office. And if you weren't able to get hold of your physical hardware to take home, there's always a way to get to it. It's just whether it's been set up like that. And I'm sure your IT guys can help, or if not, we can help happily assist you into doing that. The same with your support staff. Make sure the guys you've got, they've got all the access they need to, if your phone system isn't online or in the cloud, they might have trouble trying to get hold of people. So having things like chats and emails and other mobile conversations and things are going to make your support staff easy to get hold of you if you have a problem, and vice versa. If you need to get hold of your support staff, make sure that you're able to access them and get hold of them and talk to them so that they can then help you and you can help them. Alternatively, if you don't want to use something like a VPN, there is other pieces of software that allow you to pull your files from your file server and as if you were connected to them, but it creates a tunnel from your machine into your office. You don't need a VPN client. It works over port 80 or port 443, I believe. And then you can fire up the software. The software runs on your file server, and you have a client version that runs on your Mac or Windows device. Once you do that, you then have the ability to browse your files as if they were on your machine. And then what happens is when you work on the files, once you've edited a file, it then performs a sync back to the file server. So it's constantly syncing and constantly working to update the files from your device back to the server. This is a great tool. It also allows you to do offline files. So if you are traveling, or if your internet connection isn't very good and you want to be more mobile, then you can do that. You can download a copy of the files, work on them, and then when you come back online, it will then upload those files back to the server. There is also a security element of that, which enables your admin team, your IT team, to approve devices so that only approved devices can access certain folders. If your device is not approved, you will not get access to certain folders or any folders, depending on how it was set up. So guys, make sure that if you do try to log into the piece of software and you can't see the folders, it is probably because you've logged into a device that wasn't approved. It's a quick couple of steps they have to do to approve the device, but it needs to be done if that folder is confidential or has some sensitive data in it that only approved devices can be allowed to access. And you may have to log off and log back on. You may have to restart your machine to get that to work. But once you've done that, you'll be flying. You'll see all your folders again, and you'll see it'll be just like you're connected to the server, but you're remote, and you don't need a VPN to worry about that. So that's one element. Again, we can provide that service, and we can help you to deploy that. If that is something you're interested in, or if you don't want to open up things like VPNs and things, depending on what kind of security sort of tick boxes you need to do for your company. So I know some may or may not want to do that, and some may want to do VPN over other pieces of software. So there's lots of solutions. Another good one is Microsoft Remote Desktop Services, or RDS, as some of you guys and girls might know it. That is a great piece of software to use. It's built into Windows Server. There is a bit of configuration that we needed. You also will need a certificate, which again you can do very quickly, and you can get that up. You get that configured and working very easily. Again, we will let you layer that with a multi-factor authentication service on top of that to give you the two-factor or MFA side of that, so that again, when users try to connect in from their desktops at home to your servers, and again, this will be done without a VPN. They can go to the website, they can put their login details in, and again, it will either prompt their phone with a code or a push notification to then allow them to get into that area, and then you can fire up then a remote desktop service as if you were working from the servers. That again enables you to have. You don't need to then fill your home machine up with all the software you needed in your office. This and then enables you to dial in. You then get a Windows environment that will be just like what was in your office. So you can have all things like Office and all the Word, Excel, PowerPoint without having to install that on your home machine. And any other piece of software that you guys need. If you don't want to fill up your machine or have it on your home machine, then the IT guys might have already loaded up all kind of things like Adobe Reader and Acrobat and Chrome and all those kind of things that you use in the office on a day-to-day basis. Things like Acrobat Pro might have had licenses for, or anything Sage, or any sort of finance applications as well that don't like to work remotely. This is a good solution to that. It enables you to log on to the servers locally, so you aren't working remote. You are working your remote connection to the servers, so that then whatever you're working on is local to that session. It's not local to you, but your remote session is there, and then whatever you need to get to is nice and quick, and it's not giving you any sort of performance issues. But again, there is licenses to that. You need to purchase Microsoft licenses or Microsoft user CALs, RDS CALs, for RDS sessions. So there will be a cost associated to that if you haven't already got these things. So there are solutions, and some of them may come at a cost, but it also depends on your requirements. If you don't have things like finance applications that require databases and things to be accessed, maybe there's another piece of software that just allows you to access your files. Alternatively, if you need something like a VPN so that you've taken your work machines home, then you can use a VPN. There's no reason to not go down that route. It depends on what kind of software you've got, what kind of hardware you've got, and what your requirements are to what you need to do. It's totally up to you guys as to how you guys want to do that, but we can obviously help you in any way, shape, or form. And we're not just talking from big enterprises, we're talking from one-man bands as well. We can happily help. There are solutions for you guys as well, so don't feel like you are in the minority, because there are certainly all different shapes and sizes of businesses out there, and we can happily guide you through whatever solution we think is best for you, and obviously work out a cost that suits you guys, because at the moment nobody wants to be spending any money, or try to spend as little as possible. And we can help you do that. We can help you either try to use what you've already got, so we can see what you've got, see what licenses you've got, see what hardware you've got, and we can work around that. You could even use things like you can use your servers to do your VPN connections, or to do your Active Directory bindings, so that when you try to use the VPN, you are using your local Windows usernames rather than having to create a whole new set of usernames and passwords for your users. That'd be a great thing to save time with, especially with the VPN, and especially with now where you want to make things as easy as possible. So that's another layer on top of that you want to be able to do to enable everybody to work seamlessly and not have to send out new passwords and having to configure new things. It will make your lives a lot easier. On top of that, you can use other vendors. I mean, you could even, if you don't want to do that, and you might not have Windows, you might have Macs, so you might have Apple Mac servers. You might not even have Mac servers, but you might just have little NAS boxes. So there is other. I know some of them have built-in web clients or web access that you can configure to get in, or you may have to configure your firewall to do a tunnel into, or you might have to open a few ports to enable you to get access to them. But there is always ways around it. It's just what you've got, how you've got that, and how critical it is to get access to your data. There is also cloud services that you could look into, which you may future-proof yourselves in the future. Again, it's tough at the moment because nobody wants to change anything, or especially when you're out of the office, nobody wants to make any big changes. But at the same time, we've got to adapt to what we're doing right now. And if your team are struggling, or your team are having lots of issues with what they've got, it may be time to have those conversations and get those balls rolling with what have you, about how we can open up those doors and open up those systems to allow you to carry on working as seamlessly as possible. There's a great one out at the moment which enables you to access all your files in the cloud wherever you are. It's just a website link. It also has an app to download so that you can carry on as if you were just working from a folder on the server. It also has built into the web app. You can edit files and folders straight from the software, straight from the Office apps. So Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You can edit that live in the web page, which is brilliant. It enables you to not have to keep opening up different applications. You can open it straight from the page, and then you can carry on working. Or you can even preview files. It has a large number of file formats that it can just preview straight off the bat. So if you didn't want to work on them, but you're out on site, you need a couple of files to look at, you need a couple of images, you can view them all there. I think it even supports quite a few Autodesk and AutoCAD files, which is quite nice. So you don't even need the software. It has built into their architecture that they can open these files and view them without needing to actually have the physical software on your machine. Obviously, if you wanted to edit it, that's a different story. But it just means that you don't need everybody to have all these kind of files. If you're from a architecture firm or a firm that uses a lot of AutoCAD files, it doesn't mean that everybody needs to have the software, just the guys that need to edit it. And then if you had this software, this service, you could then work the files and then you can look at them, and everybody can look at them. There's no restrictions on how that kind of thing works. But yeah, it's different. It's challenging, but we will get there. We will definitely tackle these challenges. But guys, if you've got any problems, please give us a shout. Please reach out to us. We are here to help with whatever questions you may have, whatever kind of solutions you are looking for. We can happily help and give our advice to you. Or as I said, pop a comment in the chat below and we will happily answer that, or sign up to our videos. We're doing this every Friday, 2 o'clock, myself here. And I believe next week we have ArcServe, who are going to be joining us for a great video about their services. So join in. But guys, it's been a pleasure. Stay safe, and I will see you next Friday at 2 o'clock.